Y'all want to make a tier list real quick? Let's make a tier list real quick. Honestly, personally, this is pretty easy right here, right? Y'all want to make this order or no order? In order? Oh, okay. So in order, Johnny, Alpha, Venom, honestly though, if we want to talk this, if we're going to do it in order, this is really hard now. Huh. Oh, that's hard. This is hard right here. This is actually really hard. There we go. This is really hard now. So let's talk about the reasons why I placed this, right? It's clearly obvious that these two characters are the best in the game. This character does every character that all these characters want to do, and this character also does everything these characters all want to do. The reason why this character is better than this character because literally of matchups. Matchups, versatility versus the matchups, and just options in general. Venom literally changes the whole pace of like the game with everything he does, right? For example, you have to pick and choose like, oh, in this situation, I have to sacrifice my FD. In this situation, I have to sacrifice my life. And the good thing about Venom is like he has so many good buttons, good anti-air buttons, good anti like mash tech. Like he has a lot of like anti what you're trying to do. And no matter what matchup you're playing, you always have to play his game. This is why I think he's super strong. Like he is so like well-rounded for all situations. Like even though like she doesn't really have like the best like tools of like every matchup, she has the kill factor. She gets that one knockdown and she literally rinse and repeat you until you lose. She has that. And then her meter build is actually one of the best. She can always come back. She can always get out of a bad situation, right? She definitely have left, right, one frame mix-ups too. Her matchups may not be the best, but she could beat him because they don't get to play the game. Faust, I feel like the buff that they gave to his newer items makes him like stand out. The RNG is heavily on the newer item favor. The newer items are already good, which means that your RNG is kind of in your favor. His normals are really good, good decent damage, and then also like depending on what item comes out, they have to like respect it. So they always again have to play Faust's gameplay. Jam damage output is so high. Her Gatlings are so amazing. She may not be a lot of characters, but she could definitely like high damage them out. Her cards are so good in this game. She has you in Hellfire mode, she can definitely kill you. Because the scaling on all her supers are so good. So good. Jump cancelable normals are really good. Her forward slash is really good. 6H is really good. Her jump buttons are really good. She has a dive kick that at worst is probably like 0 on block. Chip lost a lot of like rinse and repeats like Oki to high damage, but he still has to rinse and repeat Oki. So he can still like kill you. Rev 2 is like the patch where like damage just got like higher for everybody. Before everybody was doing damage, Chip wasn't in a bad spot. But now he kind of like fell down a little bit. So now he's kind of like in a rough end, but he's still good. Still have all utilities. And like Find Me is just so good, right? Set play is really good. Damage is really good. Very technical. Matchup sheet, all right. His bad matchup's gotten better. Before it was like really bad. Now it's okay. May has gotten better since the game came out. Damage is high. Dolphins are like super good. Command throw is really good. Her package is like so good. The only bad thing about it is like characters that could just kind of like negate all of her gameplay, which is like kind of like Johnny. Biking. So Biking, one of the characters, like I said, her parry's gotten better. Her moves gotten like better. Her damage gotten higher. That made her like so strong and so scary. Her matchups gotten better too. Like all of her bad matchups all got nerfed. And they got nerfed to the point where like she could like play the game the way she wants to play it. She has fuzzies, all of that. It's super good. Her hit and throw game is so good. Like you have to respect it so much. And the reward from it is so high. Guard, notice all these characters like guard cranking is like so strong. Milia in the first Rev 2 wasn't good, in my opinion. She was like garbage. But the fact that when she rolls, she could pick up the pin easily. And then like she has a bad move, hard knockdown. She instantly is like one of the like strongest right off the bat. I would say this is like one of her best versions. I would say her second best version. And that's a lot. That's a lot to say. Kai, I feel like Kai is like was really like good with Prime. Prime Kai was like really strong. Kai and Rev and Xrd in general was just mad good. But I feel like Rev 2, this is the weakest version of Kai. And I feel like as the game developed, he got weaker and weaker and weaker. His damage is not that high. His confirm is like very like position oriented. You know, he lost a lot of like safe pressure. He's no longer safe anymore. And even with the new, like his new 6H, I thought it was good until there was like ways to like deal with it. And it actually is like way worse than his actual 6H. So like his pressure is just weaker. They also nerfed Gatlings too. Like before he used to do far slash into 6H, no longer can't do that anymore. And because of that change, like that really nerfed his pressure really bad. So like he has to do a lot of like risky stuff. And his damage is not even high to begin with. Also, they slowed down Greed Sever, so that also nerfed his damage in like Vapor Thrust loops, like in different ways. Yeah, one has to FD to IB. Yes, Pink is fine. I'm glad you remember that. That's really important. Because you can FD and IB it, it makes it where even though he's like plus 15 or 14, it's still your turn. Because he has to run over there, and all his normals are so slow to like stop you. So the only way for him to really stop you is to do Stun Dipper, which is not safe. So like, yeah, he kind of fell off a lot. Dizzy, the reason why I don't put her as high as everybody else, she's good, but I feel like she's very volatile. But her matchup gotten better, but not in her favor. They just gotten better for her. But her damage output is really strong. Her fishes are way better. So she's able to play her game. Her throw game is one of the best in the game. Her staggers are like one of the best too. She has very good staggers. And she can really like drain your FD meter. The only thing that hold her back is literally these characters that are just doing what she does better. Also, like once she gets you in the corner, she can like loop fish on you and just the meter gain is so incredible. Raven, the reason why he's so low is because in some matchups, the character archetypes that are kind of like similar to his, since they don't have to kind of like wait for incitement, they just get it off the go. That brought him down a lot. Raven was top 2 in the game at one point, but because of that ball Oki, it kind of made him a little harder. They made his win condition harder. So his win condition is like, oh, I have to wait to get excitement a little bit more. Oh, I got full excitement? Okay, I won. Also to say, his matchup sheet is actually not like dominant. Like he don't dominate matchups anymore. Shen, so Shen issue, they really nerfed a lot of his hitbox and a lot of his moves. So like Beat Driver, they nerfed the hitbox on that. They nerfed jump cancel in 6P. So that alone nerfed a lot of damage, right? So his damage is like really lower because of that. Air Beat Driver don't hard knockdown. It wall bounces sometimes. So like they gave him more combo utility, which costs more calories. And now like the calorie system now revolves around all your combos. So that means you never really get Okazime all the time. And then even when you do get Okazime, it's not strong unless you have 50 meter to do the Voltic Dane into the high-low mix-up. That's the only time his Oki is strong. But everything else is Oki is like all right. It's like you blitz, you backdash. Like it's like a mini game when he not. It's a legit mix-up. How about that? Sim matchup sheet. He don't necessarily like 6'4" anybody. He just beats them slightly. So like they always have like a fighting chance. And then another thing too to keep in mind, because of how his weight class works, everybody gets like the most optimal damage off Sin because of Sin's weight. So like even though like it's bad, when you hit them, you get a good chance, and you could chance everybody. Like he could get chanced by everybody. Like even though Leo Sin is bad, it's slightly bad, Leo can still do Leo things and like kill him really fast because he has low life. That goes for like all the bad matchups, right? His damage just got way lower, and his calorie management is more expensive. So I have to always like go back to neutral. So that means that you get more chances to play. And with more chances means more opportunities. You get what I'm saying? So now you have more opportunities to win. Soul has to play really risky. Has to do a lot to like win. You have to be really good. You can't really have bad days. Matchup, not really the best. I don't really think it's that great. Like, I don't really think, it's not like a character he just like destroys, right? He destroys probably like the bad character. Yeah, Soul is like, I would say the 5K nerf is really bad. Even though his jump normals and stuff is that great, but like his anti-airs are like actually like really hard to use against like a lot of the roster. Everything can't be saved by a DP, you know? Any good player can win any matchup, right? But so you have to always play perfect, you know? At the highest level. Milia can't make errors either. But the thing is when Milia gets in, Milia is like, she's set playing you. When Soul gets in, he only does a mix-up. Mix-up are more tolerable than set play. Because set play, you have to take it. Mix-up, there are answers around. When somebody set play you, the best thing you could do is blitz or take it. Those are the only two options. Leo, his whole game plan is like high risk, high reward, guard crank, one touch, kill you, right? He's just a big gambler. But the reason why he's like on the top of the B tier is because of how strong it is. It's very strong. Like, he's one of those characters where, like I said, if you make one error, you lose. Like, he'd be like, oh, I know this is mad unsafe, but I could do this to like call you out. And if I'm wrong, yeah, I take like a certain amount of damage, but if I'm right, you also take a certain amount of damage. So it's like gambling. It's like all in, all out. His matchup sheet is not really the great, but he could just oops you. Ramathal has a lot of issues of matchups. This is why I put her really low. She has a lot of matchup issues. Like when Ramathal gets knocked down, it's really bad. Her anti-air's not really that great. And also, if her swords doesn't hit you, her meter gain is pretty low. So she has to have the swords to hit you. Also, if you get hit away from your swords, it's really bad. She has a lot of like volatile issues. She has to play really, really good. When she gets on top of you, it's good. Her game plan is actually not bad. Slayer, the reason why I put Slayer right here, I feel like he's only good for damage. I would say he's not a good character at all, but his damage is so high. And since 2 out of 3 is designed for everybody to win, he has a chance. You just keep doing it. You have the health to do it. You have the damage to do it. His meter game's really high. Burst super. Teleport. He has multi-teleport options now. You know, just really just a cash out. You know, cash out. Go in. Damage is that high. One hit on any of these characters, he can win. Any of these characters. Haeyun is solid in a lot of sense. I think Haeyun's actually in front of Leo. I'll put Haeyun in front of Leo. I think Haeyun is actually not that bad as I'm thinking. Haeyun has good neutral. The problem with Haeyun is like the conversions of straight hits are not like good. They don't knock down. They force stand. So like it's not like fully your turn yet. And you're like kind of like -1 on hit. Older updates like Rev 1, Haeyun was ridiculous. They nerfed her really hard. Answer came a long way. Answer's problem literally is only 2 things. cannot get consistent conversions into knockdown. Matchup sheet is not the greatest. Those are the only two things. Everything else, he's really good. His meter gain is not that great either. YRC is really good when he gets meter. You know, mobility is insane. Normals are pretty insane, pretty good. They just don't convert into anything. But I would say, like, those are the three issues that he has. The fact that he doesn't get meter a lot is really hard for him. It's really hard. Yeah, the difference between A and B is actually not that bad. Like, B tier, they could all beat these characters. Probably not Venom, but they could definitely beat all these. Probably not Eno either. Probably not Faust. Yeah. So these characters right here are untouchable in a lot of these characters. A lot of characters can't fight those. But everybody else, we can swing for the fences, you know? Batman don't have a lot of good matchups. And Batman game plan is like very lackluster. But Batman versus like normal characters are really good. Like he can deal with Soul well, he can deal with Shen well, he can deal with Kai well. He can deal with like a lot of characters well. But he dies to like Jam, you know, like all these characters, right? Leo. Yeah, a lot of the B tier characters kind of just like, yeah, bully Venom, right? Or goes even with them. Go even with Venom. Like Batman does well against Venom, I think. Because of the way Venom, like, because Venom does good against these normal characters. Batman does good against all the normal characters. Batman just has an issue with like these type of characters right here. When they get on top of him, it's really bad. He can't really escape safely. Any character that can snipe in the air is really bad for hit upwards. It's really bad for Batman. GEICO, problem is with GEICO is she snowballs. Like her whole goal is like, this is going to work. Yo, it did work. Yo, let's go. I'm hyped. Yo. Oh, it didn't work? Well, I lost the game, and there's nothing I can do about it. That's it. She's either all in, all out, bro. She's literally playing roulette, bro. She don't really beat anybody, and she beats like Zato really badly. This is like, I think this is like the worst matchup in the game. I think GEICO versus Zato is actually the most depressing matchup in the game. She's just like playing like a whole different like type of style of game, and it's like, oh, it worked? Woohoo. You know? She's gimmicky. Axl, problem is like he's too fair. And he doesn't bring much to the table with low life. You know how like Eno versus Axl was like one of the worst matchups in this game? I actually don't think Axl beats Eno anymore. I think that matchup is even. That's how busted Eno is. And that's how bad Axl is. If that matchup is not even like 6-4 anymore. Like, I think that matchup is even, dog. Yeah, Axl just matchup sheet's not good, damage is whatever, never getting hard knockdown. And all these characters that are in all these characters right here, every single character above him have good tech buttons against him. Every character that is above him has better good tech buttons than him. Tech 4 just literally just beats him. And he has like a lot of ways, he don't have a lot of ways to knock down. And they also nerfed all of his like stances. Like the Sparrowhawk stance was really good. They nerfed it. They made it where it goes away when you block it. That was like the worst nerf ever. Before you could keep going Sparrowhawk even on block. But the fact they took it away, I was like, well, that character ain't good. Zato's trash. I don't think he beats any of these characters except for like, I don't even think he beats Slayer anymore. And sometimes I question if he even beat Potemkin. Like he's just too dangerous to play. Drill has more recovery. You don't have to IB Drill anymore. You know, back in when Zato was really good, you really had to know how to defend Drill properly. The fact that you need to know how to deal with Drill properly anymore makes it where characters jumping is like so strong. And then they added hurt boxes on all his summons. So now it's easier to like tech buttons on Zato too. And like Zato be like, yo, I trade with my Eddie Nubru and I hit you, but you also hit my Eddie. So like, I can't get a combo off this because you're like this way. And now you get to run at me for free. So like a lot of that made Eddie really bad. And plus he has low life. And he don't have like good fighting buttons. You know, like the fighting buttons don't lead to a lot. Drill is just too risky, you know? So that's why he's so low. But Temkin, he's not playing the game best than everybody else. You know? He does heat knuckle, sends you back full screen. And it's not like he could fight any of these characters full screen. So him doing anything like high damage, it's like, oh, I don't have meter, well, it's not going to work. 5H doesn't really lead to much. You just hit him with 5H, and you have to deal with like YRC, RC, all of this stuff, right? You have to deal with like all these like RC systems. And then when he burns it too, it's not like he could get a lot of reward off that. It's like, oh, heat knuckle. Well, Blitz is in the game. So now if I do Blitz, I get rewarded for calling out your heat knuckle because it's not a command grab. It's a command hit. Backdash is good too, but you can option select it so well in this game. All he has is just backdash. Also, his matchup sheet's not that great either. So yeah, this is my thoughts on this. The only thing I'll change is like Haeyun in front of Leo. But this is how I feel about this. This is the order of the game. Honestly, these 5 characters are important. Everybody else is like fighting for crumbs. These guys are fighting to get a seat. These guys are, I don't know what they're doing, and they're just not making it.